Good evening. It is Sunday, October the 25th, 2020, live from Atlanta, GA, with an evening full of fun, a discussion on Halloween and the upcoming election and the importance of having fun in your life. It's the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott. Hey, bud. How are you?
Good, man. You're supposed to say, and now, let me welcome to the show, the inimitable.
Yeah, take yourself out again. Okay. Take yourself out again, and let me do it right. And now, welcome to our show, the one, the only, the inimitable Ken Walls. Give him a hand, if you would.
Come on. Come on.
Come on with it. It appears that we are minus a player tonight on the roster. Our pal Scott McCain is in some back pain. See how I made that work? See how I rhymed that, Ken? So, yeah, he's having some back pain. And we encouraged him to take it easy the next couple of days and just heal right up. So we're flying with the Ken and Glenn show tonight. But you guys are used to that. We've done so many of these over the years that we will honor you in your absence, Scott, and we both hope you feel better, bud. Sorry you're in pain, bud.
Hey, did you share this out, Glenn?
I'm going to, but I had announcer responsibilities this week that I don't normally have. So let me do that.
You did have different responsibilities than usual. And you've got some big responsibilities coming up tomorrow.
I do indeed, which I'll tell you about. I just shared it out. You want to share? Let me see if I can share it to the groups.
I'll share it to the groups. I can share it to the groups if you want.
Okay, then I'll go ahead and share it. Well, today it's working. I don't know why it does that. I'll share it to both groups, but I got it.
Okay.
One more. I have one more to go.
Everybody's wishing Scott. Yeah, Scott Ricard says 3 nights in a row. Yeah. Joe Ingram's in the house. What's up, Joe Ingram? I saw Frank Crenity, Bruce Mills. What's up, Bruce? Donovan, Frank Crenity, my brother. Just talked to him a little bit ago. Larry Schneider, Chad Kneller, not to be confused with Knife.
Right. Up, or Neller, or even Neller.
I know.
So this is the first time, Ken, that I've done our show, as you pointed out, from the Eastern time zone.
With your hotel internet that's causing you to be blurry again.
No, are you serious?
It is, dude. I'm sorry.
I don't know why it jumps back and forth. I don't, but I don't want to disappear tonight. So you just take over if it gets blurry for a little bit.
No, you're fine. I mean, we can hear you okay. Just not crystal clear.
So you mentioned what, Joan is already saying Glenn's blurry.
Yeah, it's all right. So, hey, do us a favor and share this out. Share this out.
So tomorrow morning.
Hello, my friends. What Billie Jean is marketing up?
I'm not sure that James Boudouin is saying there.
Baudouin, yeah.
Hello, Mark Rodriguez. Hello,
so we decided tonight to have fun and talk about politics, religion, and COVID-19.
And COVID-19.
Yeah. We call it the show you're not supposed to have.
Right. The show you're never supposed to do.
That one.
So, yeah, we're at least getting an LOL.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, Chad Kneller. Chad Kneller shared this out. I want to point that out. He said my 3 favorite topics. Do you know Chad Kneller, dude?
Only through you, but Chad and I have spoken online.
I believe he's
through
in
the
the
show.
greater Chad.
He is
Where are?
right outside of Nashville. He's right outside of Nashville.
That's right. That's
he's
right.
He's just east of Nashville
Yep.
by maybe 15 minutes east, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a
Andrea said, "Oh no, I'm off." You're off?
Oh, maybe because she thought we were going to talk about those things for real. Andrea, that was a bluff.
No.
We're not.
No, it was a joke.
We know better than to get into those subjects.
We would never. Never, ever, ever. No.
I am going to work tomorrow, Ken. I'm back filming tomorrow. We had wardrobe on Friday, and we don't work on the weekends. So the season 4 filming officially begins for me at 5 a.m. tomorrow, because that's when they come to pick me up. So it's dark back behind me. That's downtown Atlanta. You're seeing the high rises back behind me. And
yet it's still light here. It's light here in New York. Kind of weird.
Yes, it's backward. It's already night in Atlanta, yet the sun is merely thinking about setting in New York. That's great.
It is. It's just considering.
I've gotten used to this high-rise living.
I have to answer Bruce Mills here real quick. So Bruce,
what is Bruce asking?
He's asking, why isn't this accessible on your LinkedIn profile? And here's why. I'd like to share that with the world. I turned on 2-factor authentication, which is a security thing that you can do with your social media and banking and everything. And I did it through a third-party app that someone recommended to me. And this third-party app set it up wrong. It logged me out of LinkedIn, and yet it turned on 2-factor authentication, and I can't authenticate. So I literally had to go scouring Twitter. I found a LinkedIn help thing, because here's the crazy part, Glenn. I pay $65 a month for that. And so I'm on LinkedIn. I couldn't log in. It wouldn't give me this thing. So I go down to the bottom where it says contact us. I click contact us, and it puts me back in the freaking loop. You have to log in to get to the contact us page. I'm like, there's about 30 different layers of BS that I'm thinking right here, right now. And I was like,
is this the earliest in the evening we've played Hey, That's Just Wrong?
Dude,
that we appear to be playing wrong. That.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
let's
wrong.
Just say that's
very
just
wrong.
So finally, I'm like, okay, what do I do here? You can't even cancel your $65 a month payment without logging into LinkedIn. So I'm like, this is crazy. I can't get logged in. So I end up finding this thing on Twitter, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to shame them on Twitter until they answer me. And finally, the dude answers me in a private message and says, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, here's a link. Go fill this form out. We just have to verify your identity through, driver's license or whatever, and we'll turn that off. Like, well, I mean, and that's good. It's good. It's not their fault. It's my fault. However, they do make it a little bit, let's just say, impossible to contact them. It's crazy, man. So,
dude, I love when you get fired.
We're not on LinkedIn. It logged me out. Like, StreamYard lost access to LinkedIn because it logged me out.
One of my greatest joys in life is watching you get fired up. Seriously, the spirit of Johnny Jacked Up. When you become Johnny Jacked Up, I just love it. I want to tell you what is my That's Just Wrong to start the night out, which we do every week without fail at 7:08, and now it's at 7:10. We're at 7:10 now, but we're 2 minutes deep into stating what it is that's just wrong. So mine isn't new, but I was once again confronted with how nationwide this particular wrong is. And I don't know how many of you eat at Chipotle, but I am an admitted Chipotle enthusiast. I'm a Chipotle enthusiast. There's a cup to prove it, and that is today's lemonade. which I got along to go with my salad bowl. Now, drop a 1 if you've ever been to a Chipotle, and then drop a 2 if you've ever paid attention while you're at Chipotle to something that clearly is a policy of theirs that they honor nationwide. Now, I've never been to a Chipotle in another country, but here's the deal. It's called, in my view, I nicknamed it this. Kimberly, you'll like this. It's called Kimberly Hausman's in the house, Ken. I don't know if you noticed, but we should alert the media because we love our Kimberly. Ralph Glass is in the house. We love Ralphie. So
we love
Ernest,
Ralphie.
Look, all these folks. There's Carolyn from Salt Lake City, and Ernest is here. But check this out. When you order a salad bowl and they go to add the meat, they do, and watch them very carefully because I'll promise you, you will see it. They go for what I call the second reach. The second reach is when they go for that second helping of meat. However, watch them very closely because it's not really a helping. And the record was set. The record was set yesterday. This is my weekly. That's just wrong. The record was set in the Chipotle that's right across here from the hotel downstairs. And I go in to have a salad bowl with chicken. She gives me approximately 12, maybe 14, I didn't count them, cubes of chicken in the first scoop. So they're using a big spoon. It's not a ladle, but it's a large spoon, like a stirring spoon, and they dip into the chicken and they place it into your salad. And she looked at me and went back for the second reach, as they always do. And that second reach, if I'm lying, I'm dying, hand to God, was for one frigging cube. One cube that is smaller than the dice you use to play frigging Monopoly. One cube was what she reached back for. And this is not uncommon. So I've written a poem about it, about my experience. And I'm not finished with the poem, but I started writing it shortly before the show tonight. And I want to share it with you, and you can see at least the direction in which it's headed. It's called Ode to Chipotle.
Now, hold it. Are you planning on putting this poem up anywhere on social media?
Well, it's already up if I read it right now. Should I?
Oh,
no?
That's right.
You don't want me to?
Go. No,
maybe I should just say it's a really good poem.
It's an awesome poem. Do it.
It says,
do it.
Oh, my dear friend Chipotle, how I yearn for thee. Your gristly meat and week-old chips fill my soul with glee. I also love the staff you hire, who only have one task, to make a lousy meal for me and wear a frigging mask. I've come to know all too well that famous second reach, that empty spoon of nothingness your CEO must teach. And that's where I am so far, Ken, with it. But that's how I work my end scene. Yes, Ralph, end scene.
That's awesome.
That's how I work out my feelings, and I am going to put it online, and I am going to send. Look, Kimberly says I'm dying. It is so true. I have never seen a company teach their people, it'll fool them. Just go for the second reach. It'll make them feel like they're getting a second helping.
That is so funny.
And my feeling is, look.
Oh no. He froze.
Okay. I don't care if it's $1 more.
You froze. You said my feeling is.
Yeah, I just said my feeling is charge me an extra $1 or $2 and slam a substantial amount of chicken or beef into the bowl, but don't play the skimpy game with me and with your people, and don't pretend you're going back for something when you don't do it. Yes. Oh, somebody else who knows the rule. Yes. Listen, I am all over that one, James. I learned that one years ago. So if I go in and want double meat, you don't tell them you want double meat. You tell them what they want. And That is a self-taught rule. And James, you are so right about that. Oftentimes we will split a salad. So I'll go in, and Carolyn loves the chicken. I love the, what am I thinking of? It's the beef, but it's a different kind.
Carne asada?
No, it's not the carne asada. It's the,
shredded?
Yes, it's the shredded roast beef. It's called barbacoa. I just remembered.
Yeah.
So I'll have barbacoa, and she just orders the chicken, and that's it. She orders the chicken, and then she turns as if it's a spontaneous decision. I mean, we have resorted to acting when we're at Chipotle, and she says, "You know what? Go ahead and add some barbacoa to that." And then they've sort of been painted into a corner, but it's just downright funny. I don't know who came up with this bean counter approach, but it's nothing short of ridiculous.
Read the poem again. You were blurry the first time.
And now I'm not?
No, you're not right now.
It's called Ode to Chipotle, and it says, "My dear friend Chipotle, how I yearn for thee. Your grisly meat and week-old chips fill my soul with glee. I also love the staff you hire, who only have one task, to make a lousy meal for me and wear a frigging mask. I've come to know all too well that famous second reach, that empty spoon of nothingness your CEO must teach." So I'm going to make the poem at least 3 times that long. It'll be thorough, and I will send it to management and let them know that I eat there far too often to be treated that way, that they should realize that many of their customers actually pay attention and do notice that their second reach is a nonsensical reach, and it is designed to psychologically fool the customer into believing that they're receiving more. And I mean, it's weird, but I would even like it if the first reach were a little bit less and the second reach at least matched it. But it's ridiculous if you're taking 14, 15, 16 cubes of chicken and putting it, and then you go back for one more cube. This was the record. I've had them go back for 2. I have seen that. And all I can tell you is there's one secret, which is to bestow upon them maximum amounts of joys. How are you, ladies? How are you? As soon as you walk in, and get to know them so that they will be crippled with guilt if they have to follow the company policy.
Well, it was probably somebody working on your meal that doesn't identify as a lady, and you pissed them off.
You think
and
that's
I want
what
to
it
point
was?
out, I want to point out that we have Marianne from Gilligan's Island.
Yes, Laura is back fresh from the island.
No, she's still in Florida, dude.
Oh, okay.
So, and I love what James says. Chipotle,
Yes.
communists of portion distributions.
Now, seriously, am I the only one? Clearly, James knows the deal, and he's figured out a tactic to use. But how many of you, without that little observation, have noticed that on your own, what we call the Chipotle reach? Because it is nationwide. I've eaten at Chipotle all over the country. I do like their product for the most part, but I can't stand the portion control. Even the salad dressing that you get for your dressing for your salad, even that is now in half of a ramekin. So you have to ask for 2 of them instead of 1. Listen, has a salad dressing, the quantity of dressing served, ever tanked a company? I mean, is that what we're talking about? That it goes down to, guys, seriously, we got to cut back on the dressing. It's going to take us under. And I think what's going to take them under, if they ever go under, is their small-mindedness, because they are serving from lack, Ken. They're not serving from abundance. If it were me, it would be like, here's some chicken, let's go,
Right.
And you get your people happy, man, and they come back because you treat them, you treat them well.
Yeah. Why not just get, instead of going for the second scoop, why not just get bigger scoopers?
Yes.
And then the tease is over.
Right. Yeah, but it would defeat what they're trying to do. The second scoop really is a psychological ploy to fool you into assuming you are the recipient of more. And
there
actually, Bruce, that does happen. But here's what's weird, dude. I'm not in that mode with a mask
Right.
because my face is covered. You are absolutely right. I get a special treatment because we got a lot of fans out there, whether it's 24, which is primary, or Transformers, or West Wing, or CSI, or Bloodline, or the current show I do, The Resident. Those are the big ones. The other ones are guest star things for years and appearances in movies. But it's going to be one of those 6 pieces that people know you from. And then they do tend to be a little more generous so that when they go back for that second scoop, they give you 3 cubes instead of 1. But it is, to me, it's a terrible company policy. And I don't, what does Donovan say?
I've given up any expectations of chains. I'm never disappointed now. You know, and here's the thing. I know that they have this, I know they have a backroom training program that they teach this. Yeah. And it makes perfect sense. Go for the second scoop. Make sure you don't do more than 1 or 2 cubes in there. I know they do. Like I don't think I've ever ordered at Chipotle without ordering double steak. I mean,
you have to.
I mean, who like, yeah. So,
and you know, it's really funny because this has happened a few times too, where they inadvertently they get too much on the spoon the first time. They empty it off and then give you what they have, and then they go back for the second scoop. I mean, come on, really? Did you did? There's no way you just did that. There's no way you just emptied the spoon,
dude,
then dumped it into my salad, then went back for reach to grab what you just dumped off. I mean, come on. What's the saying, Ken? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. What are some other? I'd love to hear other examples of
craziness.
I've
got another one
in these restaurants.
This
so
is
hold
not a
on.
restaurant.
I gotta say this. I gotta say, ooh, that's just wrong. But anyway, Chad Caneller, I bought a ton of stock in Chipotle for about $2.90, sold it $3.10. Now, yikes. Ouch. That's gotta hurt.
Well,
what's your other example?
Well, it's not a restaurant example. It's one of the crazy things we wacky humans do. So maybe that's a topic we've stumbled onto, is that's just a wacky thing to do. I don't care whether you're a business or whatever. So here's a wacky one that never ceases to amaze me. I feel like we live in a world of mostly adults, don't you? I mean, we have a lot of children, but what I'm saying is the business world, we're adults and we live by adult understandings and mature realizations and whatnot. And yet here I am at this beautiful, very, very nice, fancy hotel, despite the fact that we can't seem to get the internet right. That is now. Okay, well, that's my only beef because, I mean, this is plush. I've shown you my place.
Yeah,
my place is huge and it's gorgeous and it's immaculate, and I couldn't be any happier. I love staying here when I'm in Atlanta. But that being said, they too, like so many other buildings, you get into the elevator and you realize, shh, don't tell anyone. We don't have a 13th floor. We don't have it. We've nicknamed it the 14th floor. Shh, don't tell anybody. Shh, don't tell them, because we don't even list it in the elevator. That's how we get them. That's how we get them to believe it's not there. Is that really how messed up we are in the head, that we have to play games with ourselves and our own superstitions all the way down, and that superstition carries itself all the way down to the way we design our elevators? Because clearly we do have a 13th floor. It's the 13th one up, but we don't call it that. But that would be bad luck. We can't call it that.
When we went to Destin, Florida on vacation this past summer, we stayed on the 14th floor, and we were all in the elevator, me, my daughter, her friend, my other daughter and her friend, and we were going down to go out to the beach. Jill was in the room cleaning up and straightening things up, and then she was going to come down, but we're all in the elevator, and I'm like, and I think it was Abigail maybe that said, why is there not a number 13 on the thing?
Of course, because she's smart.
Yeah. And I said, well, they don't put 13 on I mean, we're staying on the 13th floor because we were staying on the 14th floor.
Right.
But they don't put that on, they don't list it as a floor because it's considered some kind of weird bad luck or something. And they all looked at me like, what? And I go, it's crazy. I said, really? And we're going down in the elevator, right? I said,
Right.
Really bad things happen if you stay on the 13th floor, which we are, but they call it the 14th floor. And I go, so like really crazy bad luck things happen to people that stay on the 13th floor. And they're all like looking at me, and I go, bang! all four.
That's beautiful.
They all four of them screamed. I'm pretty sure they all wanted off the elevator right now. And I was anyway, I was bad, but yeah, so that was our experience.
Well, but here is my curiosity is this. Okay, all right, so that's what we're going to do as a society. Really, kids? Is that how immature we are? That's how superstitious. This is how much we're afraid of life, is that we're going to pretend things as adults? Okay, so here's my question. Why does it stop with floors? If we're going to have it, if we're going to be gripped by fear,
right,
by the number 13, then
out of every month.
Then why isn't it out of our everything? In other words, why do we have a 13th day in the calendar? Why do we have, how about this one? I have flown on a flight 13 before. I've flown on Friday the 13th. So I have stayed in 1313 before, a room.
Nice.
So there's such inconsistency about it that I don't understand that. It just is weird. Okay, what does Randy say? Read that one, Ken.
All chains have awful issues. When my grown adult sons were young, we would order cheeseburger plain. 80% of the time they would say, do you still want cheese? What? How about this? Can I have a hamburger and add cheese? Oh,
wouldn't a cheeseburger plain mean that you want cheese, a burger on a bun?
Yeah, plain, just plain.
And no lettuce, no tomatoes, no pickles, no onions, nothing special, no mustard, no ketchup, just a bun, cheese, and burger.
Craziness, man.
There are a lot of folks that need, unfortunately, to be coaxed through life. They need to be escorted through these big decisions. There are folks, Ken, that if they don't have an employee manual in the drawer next to them would be lost on a job site. If you would ask, I remember in a restaurant, someone coming in and saying, can we, Jerry Jeff Walker passed away today.
Who's that?
Country Western singer. Wow.
I
did not know that, Charles Coachman. Thank you.
Neither did I. Especially since I didn't know who he is.
Rest in peace indeed, Jerry Jeff Walker. In fact, anyone who leaves our world, may you just continue your ever-evolving journey. I don't know how much rest you're actually getting. It could be that things are just fantastic immediately and there's no rest to be had. So I just wish you well on your continuing journey, Jerry Jeff Walker, and thank you for bestowing your music upon our world. I've done a number of country shows that included Jerry Jeff Walker's music, but I didn't know. Isn't that just in hotels? I've seen it both, Donovan.
Yep, so have I.
I've definitely seen no 13th floors in office buildings as well.
Yeah.
But you might be true that it might be accurate that they're never in hotels, and maybe some of the times or most of the time they are on office buildings. I don't know. What does this one say? It varies from architect to architect, the number of floors, and other times it's the developer that wants a 13th floor or not. Okay, so I guess you either go with their superstition, or if they are fine and they're not fearful, then you get a 13th floor. So it's entirely up to the architect. That's wild.
Or the developer.
Mr. Bojangles? You mean the actual Bojangles?
Mr. Bojangles.
Dance. That was a good song.
I'm looking at his pictures right now.
And
I would say
Sammy
let's play a
Davis.
song, but
Will that flag us?
oh yeah, you know how they feel about that.
I remember Sammy Davis Jr. singing Mr. Bojangles.
Yeah, died at 78 years old, man.
Who, Jerry Jeff Walker?
Yeah,
Or Bojangles?
No, Jerry Jeff Walker, Mr. Bojangles, songwriter, dead at 78.
Right.
That's what I'm looking at.
I just didn't know how they had him listed. Wow. Well, make your mark, kids. That's what life's for.
Have fun, man.
He made his mark, Ken.
He did.
Right?
Yeah.
All of you, life is awaiting your fingerprint to be laid upon it. And
Nate
many of you have already done it. It's snowing out. He must be in Colorado.
He's in Utah, I think, right?
Like I said, he's probably in Utah.
He might be in Colorado right now.
They are adjacent to one another. They share a border.
Their state lines do touch.
Yeah.
And is it one state line or is it two?
Well, it depends on how many states are around you, I suppose.
No, I'm saying
it's an ongoing line, but the commonality of that line varies depending on how many states are surrounding you.
But I'm saying, like, you know, like when between you and your neighbor's yard, there's a what's that called? What's that called?
Property line?
No, there's always a somebody give me the word. What is that word? There's always
bush. There's a bush.
No, not in my yard.
There's a tree.
No, there's a like a 5-foot space that neither one of you own or something, or I don't know. Somebody will give me the dang word. I think there's a word for it. It's called
a 5-foot space.
Easement.
Yes, an easement.
An easement. Thank you. James got it first. Bruce was second. Yeah, right of way is another way to look at it. But so my question is, between the state of Colorado and Utah, there is a state line that divides the two states.
That is neither
an easement.
So you're saying a place that the state line itself would be an easement that is neither. It's neither Colorado nor Utah.
Like I'm standing on the 1-foot easement. I'm in neither state right now.
That's a great question. Or how about this? Here's another way you could word it. How wide is the state line?
Yes, exactly.
Don't think we don't think at the Ken and Glenn show, because we certainly do. How wide is the state line? I think that's a great question, because is it a foot wide?
Right.
Is it a yard wide, or could you draw it with a pen?
Right.
Is the state line literally just a line, and you could take a yardstick and go, and there it is.
I'm telling you, like, I think that is a question we have to have answered. Somebody get us a National Parks and Rec guy on here, or I don't know.
What if, bear with me. What if you were to have illegal intercourse and you were stretched across a state line, and it was your lower extremities that were committing the crime, and the upper part of your body is in the state,
and you're frozen? Thank God he froze during that conversation.
In that state,
you froze. Thank God he froze during that conversation.
I was saying, what if your lower part of the body was doing what was legal in that state, but your torso were stretched across a very conservative state? What would your crime be?
No, but see here, like Ralph says, how wide is the lead in the pencil? What is the state borders?
I
are
think you have to see a
arbitrary lines.
urologist, Ralph. You've got to see a urologist to get that question answered.
Look, state borders are arbitrary lines with zero thickness. How?
Listen to Chad sounding very attorney-esque.
How is that even possible?
They
though,
are
dude?
arbitrary lines with zero thickness.
Arbitrary. Alexa, define arbitrary. I want to get a true definition of it.
Random.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Alexa, define arbitrary.
Random.
As an adjective, arbitrary is usually defined as subject to individual will or judgment without restriction, contingent solely upon one's discretion. As a noun, arbitrary is usually defined as, in Britain, peculiar.
Subject to individual will or judgment without restriction.
Right. So whatever someone says, it's just random. It's arbitrary.
But so how do you know if you've actually crossed over into Utah, if you're headed west from Colorado? How do you know that you've actually crossed into Utah if it's arbitrary? That's what I
Right.
mean.
Well, you're supposed to assume that you have according to the state line sign.
Look, James nailed what you were just asking.
The space between the state signs is not any sort of no man's land, so you can't get away with a crime there. You're either in this state or that one. The line is two-dimensional, but you are not. James pulling a hat trick. Oh my God, that is such a good answer.
Look, the Duke boys say it's the same as the Hazard County line, 4-inch standard baseline line width.
Just a good old boys, never meaning no harm.
Carolyn,
Beat all you ever saw been in trouble with the law since the day they were born.
Where's
Oh,
John Schneider, dude? We
Caroline's
gotta-
Alexa is answering.
Yeah. So you choke on booze and coffee. Look, Chad said he found that on Quora just like I did. So look, that no, I cannot accept this answer. If we have to spend the entire show
And we
talking about
probably
width,
will if I know us.
I cannot accept that answer. I don't accept unspecified value. That's ridiculous. And if I was like president and somebody couldn't tell me the width of a state line border, I'd be like, no, you're fired. And I'd use 3 fingers. Did you see what I did? You see?
Did see it. I did see it.
Or if I was the newly reelected president, I would still say you're fired. So look, there has to be a value. There has to be a value. Like somebody can't just go, well, it's just that imaginary line over there, boys. Where is it? What's the line width? Like, could you imagine if you wanted to have your property surveyed and they said, well, it's not really your property line. It's arbitrary. Like what? No.
Did I tell you that years ago I bought one of those talking birds and I taught it a few choice risque words and I wound up being arrested for contributing to the delinquency of a mina?
What's a mina? Is that a bird? Wow. Bum.
Oh, tip your waitress big. He's here all week, kids. All
Well,
week.
read what
Congratulations
James
to
just
your...
wrote.
Oh, that's funny. The a-hole who invented the zero-line thickness of state lines is the same fellow that designed the Chipotle meat scoopers.
That is hilarious. So what is that joke flew over my head?
Well, you know the old joke about contributing to the delinquency of a minor?
Yes.
I said I got arrested for contributing to the delinquency of a mina.
What is a mina?
A mina bird. Do you not know what a mina bird is?
No.
Ken, we need to get you out more. We
I'm sorry.
really do.
I-
We need to get you out. man.
Wow. Maybe they don't have those here in Ohio. Do you know what a
I'll bet
Buckeye
you.
is?
I will bet. I do know what a Buckeye is, but
Have
I've
you
got a
ever eaten
feeling.
a Buckeye?
Have I ever eaten a Buckeye?
Yes.
That is so wide open, bud. That's really better if I don't answer that.
I'm talking about eating a Buckeye. Have you eaten a Buckeye before?
Is that like a biscuit?
No. A Buckeye is it's a poisonous nut on a tree that you definitely wouldn't want to eat a real Buckeye. But here in the great state of Ohio, the Buckeye state, we actually have this amazing thing called a Buckeye, where they take peanut butter balls of peanut butter, and they dip them in chocolate. It's a
So
chocolate,
it's a dessert called a Buckeye.
and the top of it is just the peanut butter. You can see the rest of it's chocolate, so it literally looks like a real Buckeye.
And a friend sent me an entire box of Buckeyes. So I have eaten a Buckeye.
Oh, see, you've had
And
a
they were
Buckeye.
tasty. They were
They are
tasty.
they're good. They are good. A
well,
Buckeye.
Joan
is
has
a
since-
losing- I don't think a Buckeye's a losing football team this year. So it's a
Jones
Blackbird.
says something about a Buckeye steak. What's that?
A Buckeye steak. I've never had one. I've not had one.
So, hey Ken, why don't we ask our family what they would like to talk about tonight?
Look what Carolyn's
Because we're
saying.
both in such kickback. We're both in such kickback moods. Carolyn says, by the way, Ken's comment about your Mina bird joke going over his head was pretty good, though.
You missed that. I said that one flew over my head.
Yes, I did miss it.
And I want to address this. The Buckeyes are not a losing football team. I'm just going to say that. Pretty sure they're.
Well, I gave away my Dallas Cowboy jersey today.
Did they lose
Uh,
again?
They got destroyed. They scored 3 points.
And who did they play?
The Washington football team.
The Washington Redskins.
Well, they
I
don't
know
call them that anymore. Because,
Well, they're going to
now
after the
that's-
election.
that-
over.
Well, that's right up there with floor 13. Right. So now we can't say that because that's wrong.
The
Listen,
Redskins.
we're not going to have anything left we can do in this lifetime.
I mean,
Before
come on.
long, we will have removed everything.
Look at the beautiful Janelle Hatfield Grigo. She's on here. Look at her beautiful, happy, smiling face. Dude, she is such. Look
Yeah,
at the glow. She radiates joy, doesn't she?
She does indeed.
So Chad Kneller wants us to talk about politics, religion, and COVID-19. He's getting the popcorn.
That's pretty funny.
Let's talk
You know,
about
if we had let's talk
Go
about what?
the
No, you go ahead.
The changing of professional sports teams' names to try to put up some kind of a BS political correctness thing, like the Redskins. How about the Cleveland Indians? What are they going to be called? The Clevelanders?
That'll be next.
Your
That
internet
will be next.
What's some other teams that changed?
I don't know that a lot of teams have changed yet. That's actually the only one I know of that changed their names. But if they're going to do it, don't you imagine they'll do it across the board?
Didn't they do this?
Kimberly
with,
Kimberly Hausman, by the way, Kimberly Hausman is another one of our tribe that. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said tribe. Another one of our family that. See, it's everywhere. But who has incredibly beautiful hair.
Kimberly she's so beautiful. She's
Kimberly, have you seen some of her photos? The thing is, there's hair, and then after the hair arrives, Kimberly arrives shortly thereafter, but the hair arrives first
I know.
when she walks into a room.
She has
you know?
beautiful hair.
And I think that Cousin It might have turned out to be equally as beautiful, but we never got to see Cousin It.
Well, we do get to see Kimberly. So,
Yes,
the
we
Braves. Yeah, what the Braves? What was it a few years ago? They got
Gotta
rid of
change their name to the
Tomahawk-
Cowards.
the Tomahawk Chop. Wasn't there
Yes.
something called the Tomahawk Chop or something?
Dude, what if they changed their name to the Atlanta Cowards?
I mean,
Perfect.
oh,
It's perfect.
Sandy, we are still trying to decide what our topic should be. Now we're talking about being politically correct with your professional sports team's name, and make sure that you don't have any crowd cheers rants about, scalping people, because that's racist. And what else? I mean, I actually have Indian in my bloodlines, and I did not realize how offended I was until they brought it to my attention. And then I got really offended by the Redskins.
I was reading a book last week, just this past week, called Indian Weapons by Tom A. Hawke. And it's a good book. It's a good book.
It would be tough to lose to a bunch of cowards. Right. No kidding. Holy crap.
Wouldn't that be fun for the sports commentators to say, and the cowards have taken the field? I mean,
that would be hilarious.
Look at those cowards. Look at those cowards run.
Look, based on latitude and longitude, which is used for many state lines in part, I will go with 1 second. 1 second equals 80 feet. Corey Calvin might know. He just joined us. Ohio State's Ryan Day apologized for not taking a knee versus Nebraska. Oh my God. Give me a break. Give me a freaking break. We probably shouldn't talk about this because I will get pissed off, and we don't want me pissed off.
Well, if you want, we could introduce the first 48-minute version of the Ken and Glenn show.
We could what?
We could let this be the very first 48-minute version of the Ken and Glenn show and just pull the plug. Scott, we miss you, man.
Janelle says, I'm really not very politically correct. My family is so diverse. We could be glad the United Nations. That's awesome. Called. Oh, she meant called, not glad. We could be called the United. And that's, I mean, you know what? Anymore, that's everybody's family. My gosh. My family is like salt and pepper. We're like everything. Like, it's crazy. Absolutely insane. And look, Carrie Lynn Carter joined us, and she's all dressed up in a Halloween outfit in her profile picture. Would you look at that? Just look at it.
You got to be careful, though, because sometimes you say that, and it's like, that's actually my new nice outfit. That is not a costume. That's something that I she's really cherish, and it cost me a lot of money. Yeah, just never look. Two things: never assume that a woman is pregnant, and never assume that the clothes they have are a costume. Ken,
I've done the pregnant one thing.
Yeah,
like
you're supposed. The rule on that is you're supposed to wait until you see an arm emerging from them to assume that they were pregnant.
Look, Carrie Lynn. Carrie says that's my day job. Jeez. Where's Scott anyway? You want to tell him?
Yes. Well, didn't I say it at the start of the show? Scott's experiencing some
people joining us now.
Oh, so he's experiencing some back pain, and it makes sitting in a chair like this very difficult. And I figured that, maybe laying down, he didn't figure that would be the best posture for the show. So he just needed a break. It's, by the way, the first show that Scott has ever missed since we started the show, which was on Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday.
So he sent us a video, and he was feeling very poorly, and it's hard to see. I've been fortunate to never have known back pain, but I've known so many people that have had it, and they say it is seriously disabling.
Yes.
So for those of you who have been disabled by back pain, my heart goes out to you.
Dindo wants to know if we're talking about the native people here. Yes, my people, the native people. My people. So glad to hear Glenn is back filming now.
Yeah, I will be first thing in the morning. I'm looking right now, Ken. I'm a little scruffier than I will be in the morning because I have a specific length. Here is, you can't really see it. So
there.
Here is under the heading of trivia that no one cares about. Marshall's beard length. So get out your pens and papers. Marshall Winthrop, the character I play, his beard length is exactly 7 days. In case that ever shows up as a Jeopardy question. And I have been a Jeopardy question, Ken.
No, you haven't.
I have indeed.
They wanted to know. Have not.
I'm not pulling your leg. I have seen the replay. They wanted to know what was the name of the character that played the head of the Secret Service in the television series 24. And the answer was Aaron Pierce. And I had several people who saw it and called me and said, dude, you're the Jeopardy answer. It's like,
well, dude.
And then I felt like I had made it.
That's dude, guess how many Jeopardy questions I've been?
Probably a wide number. No?
I love how nice you are. No, 0. But listen, I got to tell you something. I was at, I told you I went to Skyline Chili yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And my wife went to Skyline High School. How about that?
Oh, that's awesome.
True story.
I believe you. I went to Skyline Chili. I sit down talking to the server, and she noticed I didn't call her a waitress because that's not PC. That's like saying Washington Redskins. Like, you don't do that. So she was this nice girl. We're talking, and she told me she was from Indiana. I said, I do a show on Sunday nights with a guy from Indiana who's quite famous. And I said, and then this other dude that's pretty famous. I said, did you ever watch the TV show 24? She's like, with Jack Bauer? Yes. And I go, okay, well, do you know I said, here, let me just show. And I pulled your picture up on my phone. I Google search it. I go, that guy. She goes, yes, that was Mike Pierce. And I go, you're so close. Pierce is correct, but it's Agent Aaron Pierce. And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I loved him. He was awesome. He had the thing with the president's wife. I'm like, yep.
Right.
It's him. She remembered you. Pretty cool, man.
And Sandy wants to know if she got blocked.
Blocked by who? Native Americans, also known as American Indians, Indigenous Americans, and other terms, are the indigenous peoples. Yes, we are.
Well, thank you, Dindo, for that
yes.
that racial insight.
I still love how dedicated Glenn is by bringing his Blue Yeti on the road. Yeah, homie don't play.
Homie don't play. He packs it, and then you run into the people at security. They go, sir, what is that? What is that thing in your bag? You're going to have to pull that out.
So Janelle, I have a question. Is your husband or his family offended by the Washington Redskins? Other than maybe not liking them as a football team, are they offended by the name? I don't like the Cleveland Indians. Somebody has, and it's Alexa, cancel. See, if you say cancel right away, she's like, oh, okay, you didn't want me. So how's the language then of the indigenous people? I don't know. Oh, when I post something, it does not show my pic. See, y'all need to quit watching the news. Talk to Janelle's husband and his fam, because they don't care. That's what's crazy. Like, it's like my buddy Robbie and John Dawson. Like, they were on that panel with us the other night. Anyway.
Hey, I have something to throw out there as a serious topic, because I was wondering this in the shower, which is the place I wonder everything in my life. I get into the shower, and while it's usually about the time I'm doing this, and I always have a hand on my head when I do that, but I'm doing this and I do this, and when I'm doing it, life occurs to me. And I had this thought this morning, and I thought, probably COVID is going to booger up Halloween for a lot of people. You know, and I'm just wondering, and I'm curious what everyone's reactions are to what do you do this year with kids? Do you take them for the ritual? Because I know what I would do. I would take them for the ritual, and then I would give them my own bag, because that way they still get their holiday. But I'm wondering, because we're certainly more germ conscious as a people. Not everybody can, but I'm saying that, a lot of people are. And given that the previous concern used to be that a piece of candy would either be contaminated or have a razor blade in it, God forbid, and an apple or whatever, just some of the old things that have haunted us on Halloween for years, those problems. Now, this is our first COVID Halloween. So I'm curious what our audience thinks. What will COVID be doing to Halloween this year?
Well,
will everybody do the normal thing and go trick-or-treating?
Remember, I live in a very heavy Republican area in a very red state typically. And
right.
We took Abigail and her friend trick-or-treating last night. Jill did. There was a neighborhood down the street that they're like, hey, we're going to have
trick-or-treating, and it's not even Halloween yet?
Yeah, they did it early.
I've never heard of that. You are a one-of-a-kind celebrator, amigo. I've never heard of trick-or-treating taking place on any night other than October 31st.
Well, we know,
but I'm curious.
We know who's voting for who just based on whether or not they're passing out candy.
Well, Charles Coachman, for example, says Halloween here has been canceled. Now, Charles, I assume you mean that. I assume that that's not a sarcastic line. You probably really do mean that. And I'm curious what the pulse beat of Halloween is around the country. What is going on in your city and state, dear friends? Are you planning to be a part of Halloween? Are you giving out candy? Would you send your kids out? What is Sandy McNichol saying here?
Where
kids have only been doing family Halloween for some time, no longer walk anywhere. Okay. Well, I can tell you that at my mother's house in Dallas, I don't know about this year. I don't know what's going to happen, but she loads up on massive bowls and runs out of candy every year with massive bowls of it set aside.
Hey, so Glenn,
she gets
Glenn, your internet is really, really bad. Can you just refresh real quick? Refresh your page, see if it fixes it. Yeah, it's like you're barely hearing you. Let's see if he comes back. Man, that was getting real sketchy, wasn't it? Hang on. It says devices not connected. Hold it. It's connecting, I think. Okay.
Better.
Let's try it now. It's a little bit. Little sketchy, man.
What if I actually leave, sign out, and click and come back on instead of just refresh?
It's kind of the
Try
same
that.
thing.
Well,
But-
let's try it.
Yeah. He's going to go ahead and try that. So yeah, last night my wife took my daughter and her little friend over to a neighborhood down the street, and they went and brought back buckets of candy. Like, you know. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Hold on.
Is that better?
It'll
No.
catch up. Yes, you're definitely, your picture's clearer for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to deal with them tomorrow because I've got classes to teach online, and I can't have that. And I don't know why every day it has started over again. So I'm
Yeah.
supposed to be on the premium all the way through. So my apologies to everyone, but that's
Oh, dude, it's not your fault. You don't need to apologize. I think
yeah.
you know, here's the thing. They have the lower grade internet, and then they have, are you connected to the right one? Is there two different types of connections that you can choose, or?
It gives you two choices. You can go with the basic or the premium. I chose the premium, and I have been getting basic service for whatever reason. So I don't understand.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes, Joan says, I feel sorry for the kids that can't experience Halloween the way we did when I was young. Yes, Joan, so true. So true.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get back to work because other than the film I did with Schneider, which was 2 months ago, you know, the industry has been largely shut down. And that one we did in a bubble, just like they played basketball this year and hockey. Same idea. And we shot and stayed on the same property so that we didn't go anywhere, which was great. But this time, you know, we're staying. Well, tomorrow will be my 4th COVID test this week. That's a lot.
Jeez. What?
4th one this week. No, it's just to ensure safety.
Wow.
I don't get to say anything either way. That's their policy. So if you want to play aboard the ship, then you
Yeah.
follow the rules of the ship.
Well,
And
it would be
that's-
hard
that's it.
for him to replace the billionaire father.
Well, they could always just not have me appear. I
Oh,
mean, they could do that. So
Change
I love
the
the show.
yeah. It's
And
a
by the way,
great-
I want to tell you guys, it does look like we will be back. I don't have an exact date, but in January sometimes. A lot of the scripted shows did not come back in October as they normally would have, just because they weren't filming and they didn't have any shows stockpiled to air. So this will be the bleakest fall season for television. And you may have already noticed the majors are airing old movies. Like, when did that last occur? And it's because they don't have any fresh product. So tonight, for example, I noticed they had the CBS movie, was the movie Scream with Drew Barrymore, which was great. But I mean, wasn't that made a long time ago?
yeah,
And they're
wow.
wearing it because they don't have new shows to put on the air. So you're going to see a lot of either reruns or movies that were made for the theaters years ago. It's going to be very bleak. You will not have the abundance of new TV shows that often premiere this time of year, September and October. How many of you have noticed that? Have you noticed that TV was rather bleak these days? So hopefully we'll all be back soon. You know?
I just had a random thought. I picked up my cup over here to get a drink of water, and I noticed this giant open spot on my desk. I have a big L-shaped desk, you know, and there's this big giant open spot right here where there used to be no giant open spot. And I had a big 32-inch monitor sitting there that was served as my second monitor. And over the last few days, it's been acting like really cantankerous and like not turn. I hit the power button and it wouldn't turn on. So I unplug it, plug it back in, and boom, it starts working at some point. And then today it just decided it was not going, it was in permanent cantankerous mode and wouldn't work. So what did I do? You're going to ask so what'd you do about it, Ken?
Hey, Ken, I'm curious. What'd you do about it?
I threw it in the trash, Glenn. I literally unplugged it, may have even called it a couple of names, and then I took it to its burial ground. And I got on Amazon, and I got to tell you something that I found really impressive. So I was looking at other 32-inch monitors and on Amazon, and they have have you seen the nice big curved monitors? Have you seen those?
I've seen, and John Schneider has one of those.
Yeah. So, well, Ken Walls will have one here.
Monitor. Allow me to clarify. Monitor.
Yes.
Yes. Just want to make sure it's clear what we're talking about. My agent for Comic-Con, Zach, has this same thing, and they're beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And they're like 4 feet. They're probably 4 feet. My arms outstretched, goes from one end to the other, and just takes up the whole desk and a nice arc. It's like a panoramic computer screen.
Well, I don't have one. Baby. Mine's going to be the 32-inch screen, and
but it's still beautiful, man.
Oh, they're amazing. And so I have one, and dude, those things were like $1,500 when they first came out. I got one for $200. $200.
Nicole says I jumped on just in time for Tech Talk.
Yes, Nicole. Sorry.
Welcome, Nicole. We're glad to have you.
Yes. And do you know Nicole?
I do know Nicole, and I'm going to meet Nicole. Nicole is another one of these wonderful human beings that I only know from online. We've not met, and we are going to resolve that this coming week. Because of the restrictions, Nicole, I did not travel during the shoot, and they have had me here in Atlanta for a total of 11 days. So I've done nothing except go to and from the studio and sit here at the hotel. And that's it. And that's just to honor protocol, to uphold my end of my responsibilities, to make sure that I'm not being widely exposed, and I'm doing my part. So when we're done shooting, then I will make my way to Nashville, and I look forward to having a cup of coffee with you, dear.
Oh, wow. She's a nerd. She used to be the spokesmodel in Vegas. Got all the free tech. That's pretty cool. Wow.
Really? A spokesmodel for what products? I'm
probably
curious.
For the big electronics Vegas show.
The big convention?
Yeah, what's that called?
I know it's their Amdex or something Comdex.
Consumer Electronics Show, CES, maybe.
Comdex, I think it's called.
Well, it used to
Let
be
us
CES.
know, Nicole, what it's called.
Charles now has screen envy. Wait till you see this thing. I'll take a picture and show it to you guys. It's going to be beautiful. Oh,
I think Charlie, I want to take a picture of my. Go ahead. I figured what?
You can't say that and stop there. I think I want to take a picture of my. Go ahead.
No, I want to take a picture of my high rises back there downtown Atlanta, and this setup, and use it sometime when I've got a bland backdrop. But I only have the mountain time zone to broadcast from that I've not done. And Carolyn, who watches us every week from Salt Lake City, she knows that I will at some point come back to Salt Lake. And when I do, I'll bring my Yeti mic, and I'll be there on a Sunday evening, and we will do the Ken and Glenn show with a guy named Scott from Salt Lake City. And then I will have done all 4 time zones. She said awesome. Casio and others. But my nerd cred is launching the first digital camera. It is called Comdex. I got it right, Ken. if for the nerds, CES is for the consumers.
Yeah. Well, you don't need to be jealous, Joan. They are literally only $200 on Amazon, which is crazy, crazy, crazy cheap. Glenn, will you be shooting at the new studio being built east of Atlanta in Covington? It has 7 sound stages, I think, and nearly done being built.
No, we are east of Atlanta, but we are in Conyers, Georgia. So we have a home studio there that we've been in since the first season. So this is our 4th year there. And I'm excited. We get an early jump on the day sometimes, and I have my earliest call on the show yet tomorrow morning at 5. But it's a privilege to get up when you're doing what you love. What did this say from James?
In states that allow more people at a funeral than Thanksgiving, I suggest you just have a funeral for your pet turkey.
And then you can invite more people. What is the restriction that is being placed upon Thanksgiving? I don't know that yet. Are they limiting?
I shared something I saw on TikTok where, man, I don't want to get political, but I will. New York City is out of control, dude. I found
this. In what way? In what way are they out of control?
There was a big gathering of these of all these Jewish people,
gatherers,
in somebody's house, and they had more than 10 people, and and the cops showed up, and like it was
well, now they've got way more than 10 people.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying if the cops showed up, now they have even more people.
Yeah. The cops were there to bust up the gathering of more than.
Did they?
I don't know what the outcome was. TikTok's only 1-minute video, so they didn't cover all that. It was somebody it was one of the Jewish people shooting down the stairs at the cop with the phone, and it, man, dude. I mean, come on, that's some straight up communist.
Well,
stuff.
That's the world we live in, brother.
Yeah, but we gotta.
Things are changing.
Yeah.
Nicole says, I thought you were funny. Now, does that mean I'm not, but she thought I was and she's disappointed?
Yeah. I think that's
or does it mean what I just said she thought was funny? It's funny. I can't tell if that's Nicole giving me a bad review or if she's actually affirming my funniness. That could be taken either way, Nicole. Please clarify.
In California, means I got your joke.
Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you.
We are being advised in California not to have family members over for Thanksgiving, only those who live in our household. Well, there is a solution for that, and that is move out of California. And if I lived in California or New York, I would move. Period. Gone. Like the wind.
Well, they're experiencing that. They're experiencing a huge
mass.
What's that?
Exodus. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a mass exodus for sure, out of both states.
Good. Do you know how many, not millions, but billions of dollars those idiots are going to lose in tax revenue? I mean, dude, it's out of control, man. Anyway, we probably shouldn't go down that road.
Yeah, and I can't because I love California and it was my home for 36 years. And it still is. I don't go out often, but I still have a home in Los Angeles. Yeah. And I miss it. I haven't been there in a while. And our kids were both born and raised there. And I'm grateful to the 2 states that I have lived in because they're both beautiful places. But I certainly can see some of the problems that arise as a result of overcrowding, and it is certainly crowded out there.
Well, Nicole's
Oh, is
headed
that where
back,
you're headed back, Nicole? She's leaving Nashville.
and
I love
and
Nashville.
yeah,
Well, there'll be
and
plenty of room, dear. Plenty of room.
yeah, yes, you should be able to get a deal on a place. I hear they have a lot of vacancies right now.
They would have a lot of vacancies. Are you already situated, Nicole? Do you know where you're headed to?
Hey, I love New York and California as well, Nate. I'm with you. I'm with you.
You know, it's just a challenging time. It's a challenging time. It's probably not the best time to try to make huge. Oh, North Hollywood is where we live, Nicole. Yeah, that's a beautiful part of the San Fernando Valley. Gorgeous
She's still
area.
looking for a place.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Well, I
What's
can
up?
tell you, I can answer a lot of questions. I can answer a lot of questions for you when we go and have a coffee when I see you.
Where is she?
And I don't
She's
know
in-
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, right now for a little, yes, for a little while longer, I guess. I don't know when exactly.
Okay.
What's going on? I'm going to get a World Series score here. What is the score of the Los Angeles Dodgers Tampa Bay Rays game?
The Dodgers are on top of the Rays.
Okay. I won't tell you what the score is, but the Dodgers are winning. I just saw the score.
You can tell me the score. I don't care.
No, but
Tell
there
me.
may be other people that don't want to have it. Although I wonder why, because if they wanted to watch it, they'd be watching the World Series right now.
Yeah, they probably
And it is game 5. Listen, hey, I want to mention the Dodgers lost. They lost just in a brutal way last night. Did any of you see the end of the series last night? It was just. It's great if you're a Tampa Bay Rays player or fan, but for the Dodgers, heartbreaking because it went down to the final out. Ken, you heard me when we were doing our show, and I was looking up here at the television, but it was 2 outs, and all they have to do, and 2 strikes, all they have to do is get 1 more strike, and the Dodgers are ahead 3-1 in the series. But instead, he hits a double, and it drives in the guy in. Actually, it would have been a single, but it drives in the guy who's on second, and the guy who's on first realizes they muffed the throw. And so, I mean, he goes to grab it, and the ball bounces off his glove, and now he comes to throw, and the throw is late to the plate. It's on time, but it's just off target. So the catcher, the player stops between third base and home plate, thinking the catcher has got it, but he doesn't. And then he sees that the ball has fallen behind the catcher, and he goes running toward the plate and dives on and slaps the plate like this with his hand for the winning run.
Wow.
So it was an error in the outfield that was followed by an errant throw. And
wow.
It's interesting. Our online minister, and I still attend my church sometimes from Los Angeles online, and he was talking about the fact that sometimes these things run in clusters because we don't stop. We just don't stop. And so if we don't stop and regroup, it's interesting how these things can have a domino effect. And that effect is something that we want to create. Good night, Sandy. We're signing off as well here shortly, but the domino effect can work for or against you. It can certainly work in your favor, and you want those dominoing clusters. But if something is going awry, you want to put what's called a stop loss on it as quickly as you can. Anything that's major that doesn't go well, look and see if you can just stop the bleeding. And sometimes the first order of business to fix something is to just stop the bleeding. I'm talking about metaphorically. Literally, that would be a truth too, medically speaking. But metaphorically, when we are exsanguinating, there's a good word for you, Ken. When we are exsanguinating, the primary objective is to stop the bleeding. And then from there, we can better figure out what the next decision is that needs to be made. But if we react instead of respond, all of a sudden everything just turns to doo-doo and goes downhill real fast. So
Exsanguinating is serving like
exsanguinate.
yes. I know what it is.
Yeah, it's to bleed out.
Yeah. Offense to make a fault.
What is it?
Gary.
Ask Alexa what exsanguinate means. I want to hear what she says.
You say it.
Alexa, tell me what exsanguinate means.
The noun 8 is usually defined as a cardinal number, 7 plus 1. The adjective
She didn't hear
is
you.
usually defined as
Alexa,
a
stop.
number.
Here, say it one more time.
No, you go ahead and ask her, Ken. Exsanguinate.
Alexa, define exsanguinate.
The verb exsanguinate is usually defined as to drain of blood, make bloodless.
That's
drain
it. To drain blood,
For example,
Nicole got it.
bleed out. Right.
Now, Nicole was in the comments one other night.
Yeah, she's watched our show before.
Yeah, what was it? How did you guys meet? Or
We met actually at a Screen Actors Guild contract discussion.
that was it?
Right, just union discussions between actors who are all SAG members, and I've been a SAG member since I was 16 years old. So Nicole's been a member for a long time, and a lot of well-known people were part of those negotiations and discussions. It was really more discussion and learning, and I'm new into that part of it, and I attended out of curiosity because my dear friend Charlie is really kind of one of their their chiefs, and I just wanted to see what Charlie's world looked like. So I came here for that, and I ran into Nicole, who was a very pleasant spirit that was attending, and she's open-minded enough to greet people, and I am as well, and that's how we meet. That's how we meet people. We show up in interesting places, and we meet interesting people. And if you show up in ugly places, don't be surprised if you meet ugly people.
Amen.
I don't mean that in an ugly way. I'm just saying, if you're concerned about the quality of the people that you're meeting, look at the trough you're drinking from. That's what it comes down to. Look at the trough where you go for your soul to be fed, and you will find the right people there. Thank you, Nicole. Much appreciated, dear. Much appreciated. So are you up for a cafe later in the week? It'll be the very tail end of this week.
So what is your and maybe you don't want to discuss your plan. I know you're going to be in Nashville later in the week.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten any further than that in my thinking, because I don't know yet where I'm going to teach.
Ohio.
I've already been gone for a week, and by that time it'll be pushing 2 weeks, and I'm going to want to get home.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back in this area in a few weeks. I'll be back the end of November. So that'll be cool.
Nicole says absolutely looking forward to it.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So Ken,
yeah,
I'm just grateful that the holidays are here. The first one being Thanksgiving, and actually Halloween and then Thanksgiving, but the air, as it gets cooler, there's a wonderful something that is a change, and I feel it every year, and it just feels good. It's like fall is here, and to see that football game today in Denver where it was snowing.
No.
Wow, snowy football. Wow.
Yeah. Bruce wants to know if you ever get to Charlotte. Well, that's actually been in discussion here of late.
Yeah, Ken and I may rendezvous in Charlotte because
you froze. He froze.
And have been friends from.
Hang on.
Are we back? Yeah, I was just saying that Ken and Jeffrey have been friends for many years, but Jeffrey and I have been spending time together online, and it's one of the cool things that can happen is you meet someone online and form a real relationship with them where you care about them and realize, son of a gun, we've never seen each other face to face, which
Yeah.
Ken and I have only had what do we have, 90 minutes of FaceTime
About that.
through our
yeah.
entire friendship? About 90 minutes.
Yeah.
One meal in Nashville.
That's crazy.
Supposed to have
And
snow
it
in
feels
Lubbock
like,
the next couple hours.
we've known each other for a lifetime.
Well, because we don't have any walls. You like that?
We really don't.
It's funny that I have no walls with a guy named Walls. That's funny.
Yeah.
My buddy Ken Walls practices the absence of himself. No walls. But it's true. You know, we live a transparent exchange with each other. And because of that, we achieve in a short time what some people honestly never achieve.
I want to try
Never.
something there. Every time you start to get blurry, if I go into solo layout, it seems to clear up rather quickly. It's weird.
Wow. Could you
It
imagine if acne could be cured the same way that quickly? Just go into a solo frame and you come back and it's cleared up.
But it's not doing it.
That would be really cool.
It's really not doing
Off
it. Right
topic. I'm watching Whose Line Is It Anyway? I'd love to see Glenn do improv. You need to be. Thank you, Carrie Lynn. I taught improv in Los Angeles for many years, so I'm always up for doing something that's quick and fun and character themed or dialects, the whole deal.
Notice she didn't say, I'd love to see Glenn and Ken do improv. I don't know if you noted that. I noted it.
Well, let Carrie know that your feelings were hurt.
My feeling, I only have one.
Hello, Randall Reeder. I didn't even know Randall was on here tonight.
Yeah, Randall's on. He was. Since
He's responding to the score of the ball game. It's 3-0 Dodgers.
Priscilla Wise said, OMG, it was a crazy ending.
Oh my gosh. That's another dear friend of mine from Nashville. Hi, Priscilla.
Wow.
Yeah, I know so many really cool. I love that picture of you, dear.
Yeah.
I know so many people from Nashville, and she's been spending a lot of time in Gainesville, Florida.
Look at
this past
that.
year.
You know that chick?
Hey, Roxy. So, Priscilla, are you back in Nashville yet? Or are you still in Florida? We'll just have this public conversation here.
Yeah. And Nate Martin lived in the Hudson Valley. I don't even know where that is.
Is that near the Hudson River?
I don't know there, Glenn. I have no idea.
Hudson Valley, I'm thinking.
She's
She's pulling for the Rays.
She's in Florida.
Yeah, she's
smart lady, obviously, living in Florida. I'm telling you, I want to move to Florida, dude.
So, Priscilla, we're back on the show, dear. I'm back. I've been in Atlanta for a week, and I'll be here for another 4 days.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you didn't have to go all the way to Atlanta to do our show, but
did you see this? Did you see that Nate says he wants to see you star in a movie with me?
Yeah.
Let's make that happen.
Okay, I'll have my people call your people.
Yeah, let's do that.
Good game tonight, FYI. Who had a good game?
I think they're referring to the series.
The Cowboys?
No, the Cowboys did not play a good game today.
Do you want to talk about it?
I really would rather not. I'm in physical pain.
Let's
so Bruce, stay in touch with us if Ken and I rendezvous in Charlotte.
Yeah, sure.
Perhaps you could join us for a meal.
Darlene said, wow, that's rad. Driving back from Gainesville, Florida to my home in Starkey, Florida day. Look, hey, me too. Dude, Kevin Bacon, the Kevin Bacon is still begging for a role in a movie with you.
He wants to be carrying the football with LBJ. Well, I'm excited about playing LBJ. Yes, the Steelers are 6-0. That's right. So you discovered that's why you remember Nicole. She's a Steelers fan.
That's right. Yeah.
And you guys found that you had that in common.
Yes. I used
to
live
awesome.
Pittsburgh.
Congratulations to your Steelers. You know, the Titans woke up in that game and almost came back. So congrats that the Steelers won in Nashville.
The Titans?
They beat them in Nashville.
Oh.
And they were dominating most of the game. And then at the last, the Titans woke up and
maybe I need to turn off my boycott and start watching. No, actually, by boycotting the NFL, the Steelers are doing better. So I'm just going to quit. I'm going to stay. We'll have a 7th Super Bowl ring this year. Come on with it.
Come on with it. All right, brother. Well, I'm going to say goodnight because I do want to watch the World Series, and I love you. And Scott McCain, we love you, and we wish you're back well. Hopefully you'll be back in action with us next week. And I will be, wow, this is cool. It's called Spin the Wheel. Where will I be? I will be, yes, I would love to see you too, Chad. I will either
I need to come to Nashville.
Well, I will either be broadcasting from Nashville next weekend or Ohio or Charlotte, and most likely it will be from Nashville. So I don't know if that incentivizes anything, Ken. But
wow,
Chad, we'd love to see you, brother.
Pictures are not showing up all of a sudden. There's Kevin's, Charles Coachman's is not, Nicole's is all of a sudden not showing up. That's weird. Anyway, hey, what perfect timing for things to stop working because we are done.
Because the show has ended.
Hey,
Chad, stay in touch with me this week, brother, and I'll let you know. And there's a whole group of folks there in Nashville. It'd be nice to grab a meal.
Kevin is congratulating you on the LBJ role.
Yeah, thanks. At this point, it's our reading, and I will also put a post because Ken, that will probably be between now and the show. They said later toward the end of the week because that's when I was available. So they'll notify me, I'm guessing, this week, and that will be something that's done online.
Wow.
Just like, did you guys know that they had a staged reading? How many of you, I'm curious if any of our buds wound up seeing the staged reading with Sean Penn and who else was in it? Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston that did Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And obviously he didn't do Jeff Spicoli because he's too old for Spicoli now. But
yeah,
how many of you, saw that? It was an online reading.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, it was just not long ago. I want to say maybe a few weeks or a month ago or something. It's probably time for me to go because I'm belching Chipotle at this point. Which is not what you want to do in the middle of your talk show.
Okay. Hey, everybody, thank you for everyone who shared this out. And even if you didn't share it out, thank you for being here anyway.
Yes, indeed.
You should share it out.
Love to you all. Have a beautiful week, a blessed week. We appreciate you. Make good choices, and we'll see you next Sunday evening on the Ken and Glenn Show with a guy named Scott.
God.